Hey folks, welcome back to the North American Challenger League. I am Studio, being joined by the wonderful Malphus. Coming
Not
up
so
right
wonderful.
now. It's just
I
mildly
don't
wonderful.
deserve two wonderfuls. Not after that Annie performance. Just one wonderful is fine, thank you.
Yeah, I guess we're part of the new roster of Ziploc and his female dogs. Proud to be led by Captain Ziploc. He's done an admirable job.
Oh, the double puns. I love it.
Yeah. Anyhow, coming up right now, we got CompLexity Black going up against LoLPro, I believe. Watching
Yes.
it like the weirdest angle because we have this really janky setup here at the studio right now. But Malphus, you can lead us through picks and bans. Do your thing.
Alright, so yeah, it's going to be LoLPro in the blue. It's going to be CompLexity Black in the red. Pantheon and Thresh already getting banned out from the side of LoLPro. Lulu and Lise in the bans thus far from CompLexity Black. And Lise is going to be the final ban here, focusing that one at Broken Chart. Shoutouts to Broken Chart as well for stepping in and doing a little shoutcasting for us, as all the casters had to go and do some of the players' jobs. Aw, yes.
It was a good role reversal. It seems like every season we'll have that one game casted by Broken Chart. I'm always happy for it. And I got to say, I'm excited for these games because we are most likely like 1 to 2 days away from the next patch, as they've already posted the patch notes. So this might be the last time we see some of those high priority Elise bans, as there's a lot of significant reworks coming in the next few days. No last ban coming out from CompLexity Black. Not too sure why, but we can get confirmation about that in a second.
I'm just going to assume message sent. They said, you know what, as long as we ban out Lulu and Lee Sin, we're good to go. I'm, of course, completely kidding. We'll get the word on that one in just a moment here. So, hopping back over to the side of LoLPro, we'll see what they decide to grab up for themselves. Have an entire world of options, including Kassadin, although that he may have been that invisible third ban.
I mean, Kassadin... Kassadin's actually being locked in. Kassadin's at that weird point right now where he's good, but is he first pick viable anymore? No one's quite sure. Just because you can still, like, we've seen teams almost lose the game or lose the game before Kassadin did it, before Kassadin scales well. And I've got the message on why CompLexity Black didn't use a third ban. They just didn't ban anything. It was either their mistake or their decision. Regardless, no last ban. The Kazakh's first pick. What do you feel about that, Malphus?
I think it's really strong. I mean, Insect showed us exactly how strong it can be at IEM this past weekend, how versatile it can be. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the first game of the night. So it's, I like it as a first pick. It's safe. It's very strong. And there are a lot of things that can go with it to complement it. He doesn't get pigeonholed into any one comp. So that, I think it's fine as a first pick, and he's certainly strong enough to merit that high priority.
Yeah, like you said, he's got that safety because he can go jungle, he can go mid, he can go top, but in today's meta, you probably don't want him up there as all the top laners eat him alive. But because you always have that bit of jungle safety, like, unless there is a strictly powerful counter jungler, and even then he has a leap to escape, no one really defeats him that badly. But we do have the Kassadin being locked in now for CompLexity Black. That's a possibly dangerous pick because it could be both Kazakh's jungle or Kazakh's mid. If it's jungle, then he has a good gank for Kassadin in the early game because of all that physical damage. And if it's mid, kind of the same deal where he can help set up a gank very easily on Kassadin if he just lands any of his slows. And then any sort of follow-up from jungler could lead to a kill. So we'll see how they proceed with this, as it looks like Renekton and Jax being looked at.
Showing this one, I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, though. We'll have to see if they do lock that in. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. If they do decide to lock in the LeBlanc. They do have the Renekton locked in, so he's basically the undisputed king of the top lane as far as the early game and early laning phase goes. Very few champions can really kind of stand up to him, and he tends to get out ahead. And if he's able to abuse that lead, then he's really problematic for teams. Looks like the LeBlanc will get locked in, so another extremely explosive laner in both their solo lanes with lots and lots of kill potential. It's going to be LeBlanc versus Kassadin, Studio. Talk to us about that matchup.
That's a fun matchup because it's all about the junglers. Because if it's just LeBlanc versus Kassadin straight up, no help whatsoever, LeBlanc gets some damage down, Kassadin will mostly spam out Harass, and it's kind of it's LeBlanc's auto attacks versus Kassadin's spam essentially. And generally Kassadin will win that more or less until level 5. Level 6 kind of tricks it up a bit. But it's going to be just constant gank setups where Laud will try and distortion in, get the chains onto Kassadin, and then not Haunts, but Heaven Time, just trying to back up and kill that Kassadin. Because if not, it's such a relatively even lane. Like, if one character gets a kill, like, if Kassadin gets a kill, LeBlanc's done for. If LeBlanc gets an early lead, Kassadin's done for a while. But because no team wants to really set that up, it's just going to be setting up constant jungle ganks. And that's a bigger issue for probably low in the mid lane because, well, Cassin is not as good at setting up ganks compared to LeBlanc, who is like the queen of gank setups with a distortion to ethereal chains.
All right, so we see lots more picks coming out here. It's going to be Caitlyn Morgana for the bottom lane, and they've grabbed up a Shyvana for their top laner here, so they just need a jungler. Unless Broken Shard saw the Morgana jungle from Captain Ziblock in the last game and was like, oh, I'll give it a try. We'll see what he's going to end up grabbing up for himself here. But and we're actually going to see a Draven Leona lane. It's going to be the bottom lane combination from the side of LoLPro here. That's a lot of early kill potential and an extreme amount of early damage.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. We do see, though, support Morgana already locked in, and this is what makes Leona kind of scary, because to actually get her stun off, you're going to have to pop a Zenith Blade, get the proc off the passive, and then you can stun someone, because that should be enough to break some Black Shields. The issue is it may not break it if you get tossed in a second point into Black Shield, and if that's the case, you have to blow your full combo to get the stun off, and you're not doing any damage, essentially. Like, Leona is kind of a worthless champion in that case. So that support Morgana is going to more or less negate low for the early game. However, they can always reverse that. They can always try and bait out the Black Shield on one champion. Zenith Blade has a much shorter cooldown than Black Shield, and just go for the other target. Or they can always switch in the middle of a fight. So it's going to be all about positioning and maneuvering. So if we ever see Bubba Dove and Robert X. Lee attached at the hip, that means that low can go in on anybody, and then just reverse once he sees the Black Shield popped. It's something fun about Caitlyn that you don't see very often. You can interrupt her 90 caliber net with a very well-timed stun. It used to be very, very easy to do it, but if you get in the early part of the cast animation, she does not get out.
Absolutely, and that what you're talking about is basically why Xpecial has probably been the most vocal player to say that he doesn't mind playing Leona into Morgana. In fact, he feels like the late game scaling of Leona makes her such that, sure, sometimes you might get a combo broken up, but as you mentioned, shorter cooldown on Zenith Blade, you just have to look for the opportunity to do it again really quickly. I'll be interested to see how Draven versus Caitlyn works out. That's a lane that can very easily roll either way. If Robert X. Lee is able to maintain his positioning and get good harass onto Hoodstomp, then he might be able to maintain control of that lane. But if Hoodstomp is able to just pop the Blood Rush and run in and get lots of right clicks down and just chunk the axes, Robert X. Lee might be in trouble. And there's not a whole lot Morgana can really do to stop that, short of actually landing a Dark Binding on that extremely fast target.
Well, if that binding does land, I mean, you know what they say in zombie movies, it applies here, you just got to shoot him in the head, and those headshot procs will wreck Hoodstomp. It's really going to be it's a very skill-intensive matchup from both sides, very reactionary. It's going to be fun to watch. There might be a lot of action, or it might just end up being a push fest. It's hard to judge, because Draven lanes, now that they also benefit from farming up that passive, it's not reliable going to be, oh, Draven's going all in YOLO at level 3, because that's what Draven does. But we are past that 3-minute delay, so going to go ahead, give a quick shout out to our sponsors. First of all, there's LoL Class, where for about an hour or so, you and your peers can get some great personal time with your favorite League of Legends, LCS, and Challenger pros. We've had, for example, the Odd One teaching Jungle Pantheon, or Hotshot GG teaching LeBlanc. It's a great way to interact, though. They will teach you the ins, the outs, the basics. They will answer your questions and really kind of show you how to improve playing your favorite champions. We also have Phoenix peripherals with impeccably crafted and high quality computer peripherals. For example, they have their mouse pad, headset, and keyboard, and it's all high quality stuff. You go ahead and check out the bird below. It is some of the best gear out there. Like, it is truly top notch.
Absolutely. Also, big shout out to Loot Crate, our other, I guess we can't really call them title sponsors, but the guys who've been with us basically since the beginning. They typically go with themed months with each of their crates. Last month it was the Attack on Titanfall, so a little bit for all the nerd and all of us. So big shout out to them, and you can find their link as well under the stream. Click that, get yourself in their service, $13.37 a month, and it is pretty sweet.
And with that, we're going to give one quick shout out to Monster Cat as well, because they're providing with some of our music, not all of it, but quite a decent chunk of it, so shout out to them for being awesome. But with that, North American Challenger League is going to take a quick break. Got to make sure everyone loads in nice and safely. But we got LoLPro and CompLexity Black coming in after this break.
started carrying coffins.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. This is our supposedly third game of the night here, the North American Challenger League. I am Alpha Sex, being joined here by Studio. These teams are going to be LoLPro in the blue, CompLexity Black in the red, and Studio. Welcome.
Well, welcome to you too, Malphus. That was a fun last game. I don't know. I think it actually is official. I think that also goes as cognitive win, but unfortunately, I believe both Leon and Cognitive are not in the running for playoffs anymore. So we'll see how that goes. But LoLPro versus CompLexity Black, two very high-skilled teams. Laud, of course, switched to the mid lane last week, and it's been working out pretty well. No idea if it's permanent or not, but we were told it was just kind of a sub position. However, he's been incredibly effective there, playing lots of just mechanical champions like LeBlanc, going for the high skill combos, going for something that, seeing transition from an AD carry makes a lot of sense, but still just impressive nonetheless.
All right, so he's going to have a tall task ahead of him here. Probably is certainly a veteran of competitive League of Legends in every sense. He's been around on the scene for such a long time, and he's playing an extremely potent champion as well. They've got the Kassadin. Like, that's all it really comes down to. Like, in IEM this weekend, people were watching the Kassadin pick. It was like, oh, they got the Kassadin. I guess they're going to go win the game now. We'll see if that translates into the North American Challenger scene.
Well, the Kassadin, I'm actually kind of scared for Laud if he does not get that early advantage, because eventually Kassadin does reach a point where if he'll toss out a Null Sphere, and LeBlanc can't punish it because you'll have to distortion forward. The Silence Apply, she can't get her full combo off. So that'll start happening, and once he gets the ultimate, he can just keep doing that, then go for a kill. You do see a blue seal coming out of CompLexity Black, though. Kazak's taking his own jungle. Question is, will it be spotted by LoLPro? They should have a decent idea just based off where top lane's going to be. And especially because they're approaching from the bottom side of the river, they know that they were just in their blue buff.
And they're walking over a ward. So
that makes a lot of reasons for LoLPro to know what just happened.
Exactly, yes. So they will be able to spot this one out. We'll see what the response is actually going to be here. So it looks like Heaven Time has cleaned up his red buff, and he is summoning some Renekton Alligator support as they're going to go in to get the counter invasion down and steal up that blue buff.
And this is the old school 2v1 setup. Renekton actually has to go back to base now, just because he's spending too much time. He will miss that big ol' wave. And you can kind of see that both sides just really try to maximize their time not in lane. Renekton helping out with a blue buff for a bit, just kind of running towards there, and Shyvana just kind of wandering around trying to not die in lane. Regardless, you can see mid lane probably taking a lot of damage. This is Laud's time to shine, but now he's out of mana. He does have some flash charges to spam back up and heal up, but probably he's just going to toss out more and more Null Spheres, and Laud will eventually get whittled down if he doesn't get any help.
And that's why the flash start is so smart for Laud here in this situation, because Kassadin is going to consistently damage you. There's not a whole lot you can do to stop the Null Sphere from hitting, and you also run the risk of kind of punching yourself out as LeBlanc. You just throw so many spells early on, you end up ooming yourself too early with Kassadin's magic damage reduction. It's really, really difficult to try to deal with. So I like this item pickup here for Laud.
It's even trades across the board, but what people forget about Kassadin, he is that mana battery. He does have incredibly high mana generation from his Nether Blade. which you'll see it in action every now and then, but the fact that against non-pushing champions like LeBlanc, he will just always have Null Sphere available in terms of mana cost. That's going to be rough for Lod, but both even no jungle interaction quite yet, as both sides kind of thrown off their normal route. We can already see Nocturne back in the bot lane as a 2v1. This is just Season 3 right now.
Absolutely. I see Robert X. Lee and Bubba just punching their way through that extra tower protection here and having a pretty decent time thus far. Trying to shove it down. Broken Shard's going to be able to group up with Westrise, and they'll try to keep that tower as healthy as they can. CompLexity Black right now leading the race. Here's the engagement in the top lane, though. Heaven Time dives in. Ignite goes down onto Bubba. First blood going to Haunter. You get the counter Ignite back down, but they're not going to see anyone on this one. Robert X. Lee dropping headshots onto Heaven Time. Heaven Time getting taken out quite low. Piltover Peacemaker not going to land for the damage. First blood goes over uncontested, or unanswered rather, to LoLPro.
Incredibly well played by LoLPro. So we saw Bubba take a tower shot and actually use his Black Shield earlier. That was still off cooldown. Black Shield has an immense cooldown at rank 1. Actually doesn't even have a point in it yet because he expected the safety of lane. That's got to sting because Black Shield versus Kha'Zix Renekton, there's no way to actually pop it, and Robert X. Lee will be going down here most likely. Pops a flash, bounce, and that actually survives. The flash comes out.
Oh, too much damage. I don't think his creep would have gotten there in time. I believe he got the isolation bonus damage on that one. Really, really smart flash coming in there from Heaven Time, being able to pick that one up. As the mid laners still playing that dangerous game, taking each other down extremely low right now, both completely out of sustain.
Completely out of stay on the side of Lod, but probably still almost a full mana bar. That's more Null Sphere, that's more damage. The only reason probably is being a little bit safe now is just because of how the minion wave is pushing, and the fact that, well, he doesn't want to risk getting ganked by Kha'Zix off to the side. As of course, vision is pretty limited for him right now. He can't just pop down 2 wards like you see back in the day. Kha'Zix is heading towards the mid lane though. It probably gets a bit too aggressive, a bit overzealous. Distortion in. Will it be the kill?
This Ignite. Oh, he was able to land the W. Then Prolod going to step forward here, going to take a tower shot, use his flash as well on that one. But in the end, it's going to be the kill and the assist going over to the side of LoLPro. They lead 3-0.
They 3-0. They got the snipes. They got the damage. They're getting the lead. This is huge. Probably CS 19. As much pressure as Lod has applied to probably, it's paid off. As he's got that massive CS lead. Probably now, with that death, he's at risk of just being bursted down by Lod. Lod actually going for the Chalice of Harmony build into Athene's. I'm not the biggest fan of this build. I think we really have to have a reason to build it, and this is a perfect situation. He's laning versus Cassidy, and he doesn't necessarily want to roam all that much if other lanes do well. He can just focus on picking up those kills. Bubba level 4 now has a Black Shield, now can protect himself versus Kha'Zix Renekton. They don't have a way to pop it, so once Black Shield goes down, there is no possible CC coming out from Heaven Time and Haunter. They can use, I believe, Heaven Time's passive will deal some damage to it, but it's everything else physical damage. The passive itself will not be enough.
Absolutely. One other thing that's worth pointing out is that the Caitlyn just straight up bought Berserker Greaves. Instead of any form of combat stat outside of the attack speed and the move speed. So this, to me, this says that they're really committing on taking down this tower as quickly as they can, trying to avoid any sort of 2v2, and they just want to get this down as fast as they possibly can and then rotate.
Yeah, they're just going for the crazy push strats. It makes some sense if they're not confident. Actually, Heaven Time using the ultimate in the brush. I've been trying to avoid some vision. Going forward now.
There's exactly what you were talking about. They cannot get the CC down, but they can get all the physical damage through Heaven Time. Going to pick that kill up with his passive going into that one, and just like that, they grab a quick kill onto Robert X. Lee.
Poor Robert, he's not mobile enough. Going up against Renekton Kha'Zix, that is leaps, dashes, spins. They are so mobile, and without decent mitigation versus the damage, this is like the odd situation where a Janna might have been working out more just because she has great ways to mitigate and could help the push. Unfortunately, Janna not exactly the most common champion character right now, but he just can't do enough. And this is odd to say, as this is a Morgana support. Morgana support not exactly weak in utility, but because she's only stopping the CC, like you said, there is just way too much damage coming out. And with the flash already down, Caitlyn just does not have enough defensive options. This is pretty dangerous for CompLexity Black. Their AD carry is falling behind in CS. The top lane, Renekton, he's getting CS, getting kills, and Kha'Zix 301. That is a devastating amount of damage Kha'Zix is gonna be able to do on his first buy. He should be able to go back and actually might be able to finish off the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. He can do that and buy boots.
Yeah, he's got 3 early kills. The snowball potential on Kha'Zix is immense, especially against a team that has a fair number of relatively squishy targets coming in here. Robert X. Lee is going to be a high priority target. Bubba Dub will, the Black Shield won't be able to stop anything except for the passive damage from Heaven Time. So this is a very scary moment if you're this side. Even Broken Shard's Nocturne, which you see he's going in for the Spirit of the Elder Lizard as well. If he finds Heaven Time right now, unless he gets, maybe if he spell shields the Taste Their Fear, maybe he'll be able to get back out. But apart from that, I think Heaven Time can kill pretty much anyone that he finds in a 1v1 situation right now.
Yeah, there is no fear for the Kazakhs. He just gets a taste of everyone else's. Looks like there are some lag issues coming out. I believe that is something that is happening with Charter. It's like there have been some odd network outages, and people are trying to recover right now. So hopefully we can go ahead and get things situated.
Hopefully, fingers crossed here. I happen to be paused right over West Rice while he has Burnout on. So this is just awful.
Background noise. I'm playing a lot of Dark Souls 2, so we'll say that's like some of the lava sounds from that game.
Oh yes. All right, so West Rise and Broken Shard doing everything they can to keep this tower healthy and alive. I can't check the opposing tower health to really see how far they're done. But it was like the early push went heavily in advantage of CompLexity Black, and then Heaven Time just kind of set up shop in the top lane. And he's been an absolute nuisance there, being able to take down Robert Exley twice, which is a big part of why Hoodstomp has been able to get a nearly 25 CS lead. Combine that with the fact that he's getting those adoration stacks every single time he last hits or catches an axe. And if he happens to pick up a kill here as we start moving in towards the later phases of the early game, the snowball potential for LoLPro will be just immense.
Yeah, this is scary because Draven, he's getting passive farm, and he is now a champion that actually benefits from it. He still needs to pick up that kill eventually, like you said. He can pick one up now, and it's really not the biggest deal. But think about the fact that he's gonna be coming into the mid game pretty soon. He's gonna be close to a Bloodthirster actually, just off this farm. He already has a BF sword for sure, so he just needs 1100 gold. He might just be able to go ahead, come in, get one assist from Heaven Time, who's doing already super well, and just immediately be stronger than not only Caitlyn, but pretty much everybody on this CompLexity Black side. There isn't a lane doing well, unfortunately, as you expect the 2v1 to not go that well. It's going great for Hanser. You expect Cassin to not do well mid without jungle support, but jungle is stuck bottom. Everything's just kind of falling apart right now for CompLexity Black. They need to get some kills. They need to make some plays happen. And it's got to be either something in the bot lane or something in mid. And with the way the match is going right now, I don't see how Prowley can actually pick up a kill.
Yeah, and you have to feel like this is working out in favor of LoLPro, that CompLexity Black have gone for this lane swap, because they're forcing that isolation in the mid lane. They're forcing LeBlanc versus Cassin into just 1v1. And as you mentioned, it's going to be a while before Cassin really starts hitting that super outscaling phase, especially with the early pressure that Heaven Time applied and allowed LOD to get out ahead. So the fact that the LeBlanc is already leading in that matchup, and now they're forcing them to continue staying in that matchup 1v1, it's an extremely difficult situation for him to keep up with.
I'm trying to go ahead and read through some of the players. I guess the network issues are just pretty massive. That's just the worst. It's also terrible. I was gonna say horrible, then it became horrible, but it's horrible when it's ISP related, because it's so hard to find a proper solution. Because you can't really call up your ISP and just be like, fix your things. And they're not gonna say, okay, yeah, all right, we'll do that for you right now. This is rough. Here's hoping they can get their internet straight. But like you said, it's gonna be hard to make any play happen for CompLexity Black. I want to see if Broken Shard, now that he has the ultimate, actually.
Yeah, they're trying to go for the roam instead. Hoodstomp going to try to get himself away from this one. There's the Force Pulse. So much damage coming down here. LoPally in the middle of everything is extremely tanky Leona. They are able to get themselves back out. Hoodstomp burns the barrier, but not the flash. Now LoPally, feeling confident, steps back forward here. Knows that the Ignite is down, and so he has just so much additional tank potential here. They will be able to get themselves out. LOD a little bit late on that roam. But if the side of CompLexity Black stick around, he might be able to find himself something to clean up. No, he's going to head back to the mid lane.
That's actually a huge win for LoLPro. It's not so much that they gained a direct gold advantage. Actually, probably setting up the kill, looking for the bait. They don't know they're in that brush. Broken Shard is there as well. No ultimate available, but does have the flash. Will get the Fear Tether.
They go in. LoPally going to face check this one. Broken Shard tries to go back out, and they just immediately disengage. We see, actually, Broken Shard goes in too hard on LoPally. LoPally picks up the kill with the Ignite. Now we see Hoodstomp trying to chase down. Probably going to rift walk in, picks up the kill on LoPally. Now trying to run himself back out. Hoodstomp chasing him down with the spinning axis. Probably going to go down. Who's going to get it? There's a 624 gold bonus for Hoodstomp. He really would have preferred to put that kill onto Heaven Time, but Heaven Time was not giving him the opportunity.
Heaven Time having none of that. He walked right by a 924 gold. Massive lead now for LoLPro. That was the Draven setup. Now he's going to go back to base. How much gold does he have to spend? Has a whopping 3,300 or 735. He can go back, buy a Bloodthirster and a pair of boots and just dominate lane. Man, this is a 4,000 gold lead for LoLPro. CompLexity Black. Just unfortunately, the early laning didn't work out, and this is a team that has so much snowball potential. Now, they kind of split their focus, unfortunately. It was the initiation onto low from Probably for a second, and then Broken Shard went straight onto Hood Stomp. They just didn't have enough concentrated damage to pick up the kill before people started dropping, before low helped secure the kill on Broken Shard.
Alright, so we see him in the top lane. Renekton versus Shyvana are finally going to have at it here. And this is I mean, you typically expect Renekton to do a little bit better in the early game, and then for Shyvana to start outscaling him. But this is a really significant lead. He's got the kill, the 2 assists, and he's got almost 40 CS advantage over Westrice as well. Westrice going to have to be very, very careful how he plays this one until he's able to get some support from maybe from Probably roaming up or from Broken Shard coming in with the ult.
This is kind of odd, but most Shyvanas have been losing to Renektons lately. It's always that mid-game matchup where they start to catch up. So hopefully Westrice should have experience in being in this position, but the problem is that, well, he's way far behind compared to a normal matchup, and that is going to be devastating. It's a Renekton who has the Negatron Cloak already, can go ahead, I believe, finish off the Tiamat right about now, has a gold for it, and there's going to be very little recourse for Westrice. He can build straight up tankiness, but then he's not going to build it Spar versus Haunter, or he can go for the Blade of the Rune King, but that's going to take way too long at this point.
Alright, so we see consistent pauses coming out here as teams are having ISP issues, maintaining their connection to the servers. Hopefully this won't become the status quo for the game. Hopefully people will get themselves back into it, but
probably in the bot lane, looking for that roam. Pings onto him, they know he's there.
And this is, I mean, this is the dangerous thing about playing Draven, is the fact that, you know, all he's got is 1 CC. Oh my goodness, the Riftwalk takes Lopali over the wall, but he's going to be more than happy with that. So he gets a stun down. There's the ult. Prolod picking up the kill onto Probably. Now we see Heaven Time using the ult to get himself back out from this one. Does not want to continue the engagement. They go back in on the Broken Shard. Big chunk of damage coming out here from LOD. Lots of work coming out here. There's the Dark Binding going on to Heaven Time. We see the Soul Shackles going down as well. Heaven Time going to try to get himself away. Will not get feared up, but does fall down to the passive from Nocturne combined with the auto attack. Now Robert Exley using the net, trying to create a little bit of extra space. The ult comes back out. Double kill goes for Broken Shard. He picks up that kill with a Q. Robert Exley going to flash himself over the wall. Hood Stomp now going to try to pick up this kill onto Bubba chases him in under the tower. The spinning axe is dealing insane amounts of damage. Just needs to avoid getting CC'd up. And we see Robert Exley going to try to help out. There's the ace in the hole coming back down. There's a Dark Binding. He's going to flash over it. Hood Stomp trying to get back in. Stand aside. Going to connect. Will not be able to pick up that kill. Westrice ults himself back into this one. Hood Stomp will just barely be able to pick up the kill in time before he goes down. They end up trading back to the AD carries. But what a tumultuous engagement down in the bottom lane.
Took all 5 members of CompLexity Black to finally take down Hood Stomp. They do pick up the kills though. They do get the overall gold lead. The turret does go down, but they can try and secure this dragon now. And this might be their final turnaround. They need something right about now. Renekton looking for that dragon though. He's tanky, but he goes in.
Flashes in, pops the ultimate. We see the smite's going to go to Broken Shard. Broken Shard looks like he might fall down to this one. Can he keep himself alive? Yes, indeed he can. The fear proc too strong, and Bubba is going to pick up the kill.
It was an aggressive play coming out from Haunter, but unfortunately he just doesn't have enough HP right now. He has a lot from Dominus, but his damage not too relevant when he's getting interrupted by that fear, by that CC. Westrice though in a lot of danger.
Westrice going to get rooted up. Oh, the flash comes up with the Zenith Blade, not going to land. There's the Dark Binding as well. They use the Leon ultimate, but Westrice still has his flash. Is able to get himself away from that Eclipse, and will keep himself alive.
I think we can all give credit though to Hood Stomp for that flash of the Dark Binding. That was a pretty slick move right there. Definitely one of the it's the best way to A move forward and still dodge a skill shot like that. Only applies with a smaller skill shot, but still pretty damn awesome. Overall though, CompLexity Black, they're working their way back in. They are still behind. There is no doubt about that. But they got a kill onto Probably. They got an assist on Probably. They're getting kills onto Nocturne. Nocturne we haven't really talked a whole lot about because he's been stuck in the bot lane. But we saw this a lot, especially when Ninja Can was on CompLexity way back in the NACL Season 1. But he is one of those champions where once he starts getting ahead, he can carry. You just need to go ahead and get that early game advantage onto him. If not, he'll fall behind, be kind of worthless, a little iffy. With his CS lead over Kha'Zix, with his 2-1-3 score, he actually is very powerful right now.
He's got a very similar build as well. Heaven Time looks like he could be going in for the Hexdrinker, which would make a lot of sense, given the magic damage coming out from Cassidy and a decent amount of magic damage actually coming from Shyvana as well here still in the early game. So Hexdrinker I could see working, but he might just be going in for the Merc Treads and then trying to grab up a Brutalizer next. But in either case, despite the Kha'Zix leaping out to such a huge lead, Broken Shard is doing a great job keeping him into this one. They're going to try to go for this invasion and see if they can take this one out. Broken Shard is going to be able to get the red buff in time. Going to look for the fear on the Haunter. Will not be able to get it. Haunter slices himself out. Now tries to wall back in. Laud comes back in. Will not be able to land the chain. Now he's actually finding himself isolated on this one. He's going to be able to distortion himself back through the wall. We see he's going to try to chase out. He fancies the 1v1 with Robert X. Lee. That's not going to work out for him either. Robert X. Lee grabs the kill and the blue buff that goes along with it. And just like that, I mean, we see the invasion is defended here from the side of CompLexity Black.
It's still a 1-for-1, but it's a kill onto the AD carry. That's actually a really good juke from Laud. He gives himself up. He knew he was going to die, but rather than giving the kill to probably someone who is a behind Caston, and you want him to stay a behind Caston, just sacrificing himself to Robert just goes ahead and makes sure that gold lead doesn't get the gold lead doesn't diminish between him and Probably. In the end, though, this is more farm time for Probably. This is more farm time for Robert up in the top lane. All these lanes being jumbled up just blow my mind right now. I'm so unused to lane swaps and this heavy lane movement. But with this extra time farming, it's passive, but it's positive passive for CompLexity Black. They're only 2,000 gold behind now. This has been hard fought after I think they were 5k or so behind a few minutes ago. It's been a rough game for CompLexity, but they can definitely fight this back as long as they keep trying to stall it for the late game, stall it for Cassidy. And if Caitlyn can, pick up some gold, she doesn't need to have Draven levels of money. If CompLexity can try and burst down a hood stomp before he can do anything. As of course, Draven does not have good escape, so that actually makes someone like Nocturne very effective versus him because that fear will land on him.
Exactly, yeah. With the move speed that he gets from walking on the path that comes out from the Dustbringer, the fact that he can spell shield the stand aside, that's basically all he needs to kind of guarantee that he'll be able to get that fear down. And once he gets the fear down, it's just so difficult. The other thing too is you look at this, and there's not a whole lot of really direct peel from the side of LoLPro, right? Like LeBlanc can just try to kill someone, Renekton can stun someone, and Leona's got she's got a couple CCs, so she's got a decent amount of peel, but it's not really enough to take Nocturne and Shyvana both off of the Draven. And then you combine that with the fact that Probably's got his Cassidy and he can be looking to leap in and grab up some extra kills. This is just a really, really scary team to have to play any marksman against, particularly one that doesn't have a built-in escape like Draven.
I mean, this really is Season 3 in a nutshell. Like, this would be a great game for Ezreal or Corki because it could do so well with the Assassins. And this is what we used to see in Season 3. So, kind of fun to see that once again, that the non-mobile AD champions against so many assassins and bursty champions. It's not being chased down the top lane. Dragon going for the kill. Lots of company going towards him, though.
Oh, Broken Shard. Yeah, he's going to get in there with the ultimate. Westride's going to be able to pick that kill up, and that's it. Those two are going to be the bane of Hood Stomp all game long. Even once we start hitting the teamfight phase, they're going to look to do the exact same thing. Westride's just going to pop the burnout, he's just going to pop the ultimate, and then Broken Shard's going to be able to join him. It's the old die buddy comp. Probably jumping over the wall, trying to get a little bit of chunk down onto Heaven Time. Will be successful at getting that, but will not be successful at keeping the tower alive as LoLPro grab up their third tower of the game.
Ooh, Binding does land onto Heaven Time. I'm not a lot going to come from that as he was stealth. Man, I'm scared. I'm scared for Hood Stomp, actually. Because, like you said, they have ways to appeal for him. But Westrice, he doesn't have a Blade of the Rune King yet. He should eventually pick it up. Might start building towards it now. We'll be able to see. But once Blade of the Rune King comes out in Shyvana, that's her biggest boost in DPS, her biggest damage boost. And even without the Blade of the Rune King, it doesn't take a lot of help from Broken Shard to secure these kills onto Draven. So let's see. Do we see Map Scepter?
Oh, Studi, bro. Look at the Nocturne. He just completed the Phage as well. He had the Ruby Crystal and the Longsword, so he's going for a Trinity Force next. He might try to go all the way to the Trinity Force next. He might just grab the Phage for the extra chasing power and then leave it at that for a while. But in either case, if he's able to complete that item, the damage output and the chase potential will be so incredibly strong. Hood Stomp is not going to have any fun this game whatsoever.
Yeah, so Nocturne, when he does build a Triforce, his burst is insane because you have a good, I think, 500 or so damage coming out from Nocturne's first auto attack, maybe more, because Nocturne, of course, has that passive that increases his auto attack damage. Triforce will stack on top of that, and there's just so much heavy DPS coming out at once. And you factor in the ultimate damage itself, which is actually decently high. It's about 370 damage right now, and it's going to be very difficult for Hood Stomp to survive that burst with the aid of West Rice going for that dive. And the way the gold's been distributed, that's actually where the bulk of the money is right now for LoLPro. Most of their lead is onto Hood Stomp. A lot's on Hanser as well, so that's going to be the advantage. If they blow so much killing Hood Stomp, that means Hanser can try and go to town on Complexity Black's backline.
All right, so we see Dragon has come back up. Both teams are grouped up in the area, looking to make a contest here. Robert X. Lee still in the mid lane, getting the push over here. And there's enough ward coverage here from the side of LoLPro that they know exactly what that positioning is like. They're going to try to get the burn down here. Heaven time with the Taste Their Fear. So much damage coming out there. He's going in with the wings. He's got the ultimate going on as well. Trying to dive in on the Robert X. Lee. Pro LoPally will fall down. Broken Shard picking that kill up with the right clicks. You see the teams have kind of redefined themselves into battle lines. Hoodstomp's flashing in. He picks up the double kill. Trying to continue chasing this one down. He's got Renekton running the front line for him. They're just running all over Burnout. It's like a better Singe with lots of fire. But now we see Hoodstomp going to get locked up with the Dustbringer. They're going to be able to get this pink ward and back away. West Rice wants to come back in. There you see Broken Shard comes in with the ultimate, the passive. Almost takes Lod back down, but it's not going to be quite enough. Broken Shard is able to pick up the kill on the Hoodstomp. Now Hanser needs to get himself back out. Not super tanky just yet. The Q and the R enough to pick up the kill on the West Rice. Broken Shard flashed himself away from that one. Will not be able to continue the chase. And again, another back and forth, crazy drawn out fight.
That's a 3-for-3. That's the totally even fight. That was not the commitment onto Hoodstomp. He was actually able to pick up a lot of kills, got a lot of gold, so that fight will be in favor of LoLPro, but only by a bit, because in the end, it's even, but you can see that Complexity Black still has a power to fight back. They still can do well in these team fights, despite their gold disadvantage. And that was the interesting kite fight, because Hoodstomp survived, he chased down. It was a beautiful ultimate from LoPally to stun up and just set up a lot of damage from Renekton as well. But even with that, they could not keep people contained enough, just because Caitlyn's a mobile champion. Cassian's so mobile. Same thing with Nocturne, as he is very, very fast on the Dustbringer trail. So everybody got out and then got right back in once the cooldowns came up. I want to see if they can actually contain someone like Shyvana and Nocturne and Caitlyn all at the same time on the side of LoLPro.
You see, there's LOD coming in over the wall, does not land the chain, so misses out on a big chunk of damage on the Prolly there. But and I'm looking at some of the item builds right now. There's a Bilgewater Cutlass that's just been completed for Broken Shard as well. This is the screw anyone who tries to run away from me ever build on Nocturne.
Yeah, he will contain Draven very, very well, to say the least. Now, we mentioned a lot of peel before. Whoa, that's a lot of pause and reconnect all going on at the same time. Looks like teams are doing decently, though, so hopefully should get back in soon. There we go. But yeah, so you land the Nocturne ult, you pop the Cutlass and the Tether at the same time, which means even if there's Leona, even if there is a Draven stand aside, a LeBlanc root, as long as Nocturne doesn't die, he gets the Fear off, which, it is eventually a 2-second CC. It's an incredibly powerful spell, and he's maxing it out second, so at this point, he has the 1.75 second Fear, which, while not as strong as a Fiddlesticks Fear, for example, when you're a Nocturne, you have so much sustained DPS, it's still incredibly powerful.
Oh, Hanser. Hanser's going to be in a lot of trouble here as West Rice comes out. Going to use the ultimate to try to push him back in. There's going to be slice and dice coming out from Hanser. Probably is going to have lots of Riftwalks try to chase us now. We see West Rice flashes forward to continue getting the damage output down right now. There's the Dominus coming out. They're going to continue chasing under the tower. West Rice has the tower aggro. They're trying to make the dive work. Will they have the damage? Yes, they do. The Whirling Death coming back in will not land. There's the Leona ultimate coming back in. LoPally going to try to continue this engagement. He doesn't have enough people anywhere near enough to try to help him out. It's going to be his damage output or nothing, and it's not going to end up working out for him. Trying to chase back down. Another Riftwall comes back out, and we see the rest of the side of Complexity Black were running interference in the jungle as they were able to delay LOD long enough to get both of their players out from the bottom lane and allow Robert X. Lee time to take down the mid tower.
You could see from that fight, Hanser, he had no chance of escaping. They had no way to actually lock down his CC and escape that fight. And it's kind of the same thing with the chase down. Like, how do you catch a Shyvana Kassadin unless you are a Shyvana or Kassadin yourself? That was rough for LoLPro, but at the same time, Hanser a bit too far out of position, getting punished for it hard. This is a very punishing team. If Draven's out of position, he gets ulted by Nocturne, ulted by Shyvana, dies. We've already seen that. Renekton, who is a tanky champion, he's building magic resist, so he's incredibly powerful versus both Shyvana and Kassadin right now. It's still getting chunked down in the end. This LoLPro, they have to play safely, and Complexity Black, if they keep getting these pickoffs, if they keep getting the gold and farm, and it's kind of the stall onto Kassadin, the stall letting Roberto actually farm, they will eventually just have this incredibly powerful mid to late game presence. They can carry off that very easily.
And I really like that Westrice has just itemized full tankiness so far. And honestly, if he never ends up building up Blade of the Ruin King or any damage items, I would be okay with it because of how much damage is on Broken Shard, because of how much damage is going to come out from Robert Exley and from Prowly's Cassidon. We see there's a Dark Binding landing on the low Pally. He's going to drop the ultimate before he goes down. Prowly's going to want to pick that kill up. Now they're continuing to chase Heaven Time. Gets slowed up by the Force Pulse. Westrice going to try to drag himself back out of this one. There we see 2 quick kills coming out for Hoodstomp. He's just dealing so much damage. Heaven Time turning this back around. CompLexity Black thought they wanted that fight after picking up the kill on Leona, but it does not work out for them at all.
Leona is just a Leona. They rotate towards Hoodstomp later on in the fight, but Hanser took a lot of the brunt of the aggression as well. What happened to Prowly is he goes ahead, moves forward, gets crit by Draven. Out comes a Leona stun, out comes Draven ultimate, and that's enough to pick up the kill almost on its own. Right now, Hoodstomp, we've been mentioning how easy it is to punish him, how easy it is for him to get bursted down. That is true, but he's still a Draven with a Bloodthirster, Static Shiv, and Last Whisper 24 minutes into the game. So his damage is crazy nonetheless. And with, I believe, he has about 11,000 gold already. That is how far ahead he is. If they don't focus him down first, if he has a chance to survive for more than a few seconds, he'll win the fight. Like, he almost died that fight, and they just need a little bit more focus that they unfortunately could not secure.
He's gained over 1,200 gold from his passive thus far. It's 1,250 gold from his passive thus far throughout the game. So he's so tremendous right now, and he was up basically a full Last Whisper over Robert Exley in that fight. That was the level of difference between the two. Now he's just up a full BF sword, you know, just that. That extra massive chunk of damage he's got coming out for every single right click. Hoodstomp is terrifying right now.
His damage is insane. I think we saw a 604 crit from a spinning axe, which it's not like the 1,000 crits we'll eventually see later on once he pops an Infinity Edge, but he's already doing ridiculous amount of damage. Like, it's weird because CompLexity's Black team, they punish so well, but they have to punish the right targets. Going full on onto Leona, fortunately not enough. Westrice is caught out, but he's a Westrice playing Shyvana with the Morgana. Will be okay, but Robert taking a lot of damage to the back line.
We see now they're just trying to trade it back up, get as much damage as they can. Leona ultimate goes back down, but there's 0 follow-up for this one. Robert Exley, you see he lost over half of his health, but he didn't actually get, again, the second part, the Mimic Sigil of Silence second proc down. So that's still not even as much burst as Laud is capable of, even without going for the DFG build here. He's got the Athenes, and he's got the Death Cap done. So there's a tremendous amount of damage already, and additionally, you know, a little bit of staying power as well. That mana regeneration helping out quite a bit. And, you know, of course, both these mid laners did start or get early flasks. I think they both started with flasks, so they're both going to have them throughout the game for that little bit of extra HP and mana.
It's a fun mid regeneration. It's enough to help sustain it. It's some of the poke out fights. It's not the best, but it's there. It's reliable. You'll always have it. Coming out from CompLexity Black, they can try and land a binding onto someone. That someone has to be most likely Laud or Hoodstomp. They can try and catch out, maybe have a time. Dragon does get taken down though. Laud taken down a half HP already. Goes forward towards Prowly. Dangerous though.
Yeah, now he doesn't have distortion for the escape, and Broken Shard's going to punish him for that. Hans are going to get locked up so much damage as the entire team focuses him down. Robert Exley goes on a rampage as he picks that kill up. CompLexity Black pick up 2 kills, they drop none, and they're moving in towards the Baron.
They can try and lock this down. They have a really fast Baron potential as Cassidon with his auto attacks being enhanced by that Nether Blade. Shyvana, Nocturne themselves, all fantastic Baron champions, and Caitlyn is, you know, it's EAD carry. Get a Baron. We do see engagement coming in from LoLPro. They don't want to give this up for free. This will more or less even out the game. Fighting lands on low though.
Oh, the Pally going to get locked up. Bubba Dub's going to be the one to pick that kill up. Now we see Hoodstomp trying to get himself away from this one. Flash forward, 2 auto attacks from Robert Exley. Good enough to secure the kill. They pick up 2 more on this one, and they move back in onto the Baron.
I mean, what is to stop them at Baron at this point? It's pretty much Cassidon going in with his leap to go for the steal. However, actually he's posturing around it. There is no vision on Baron though for having time to make the steal.
This is going to be extremely difficult for him. This is a huge risk for him even being around here. He's not going to be in time. Broken Shard's going to be able to pick it up. Heaven Time does pop the ultimate. Got lots of bonus movement speed, and it's evolved, so a little bit of extra duration as well. Hanser stepping forward here. Wants to be able to turn this back around. Probably going to try to give us away. Heaven Time flashes over. Doesn't have any mana left to try to continue the chase. Will not be able to lock this one down. And just like that, we see CompLexity Black secure themselves a Baron. I mean, you have to say that they're officially on even footing now. They're down about 1,000 gold, but they've got the Baron buff stats. They're in a really good position to continue pressing forward and building an advantage for themselves finally here, nearly at the 30-minute mark of the game.
They don't necessarily need to go for the hard push, but yeah, they're fantastic for the mid game right now. Cassidon has a decent amount of gold, not a fantastic lead, but at the same time, Laud himself is not getting a great lead. So they're both kind of decent assassins. However, Cassin can still burst down Laud, as we've seen before, and Laud doesn't have a good recourse for it, as Cassin just so mobile, has a 5.7 cooldown on Rift Walk. Unfortunately, Laud, he got caught by the Nocturne. He got caught by the fact that CompLexity Black's team is based around punishing mistakes. Cassin and Nocturne are two of the, like, they're the two biggest positioning mistake punishers. Bubba playing Morgana, if you get hit by that binding, that means you just didn't do the skill shot, and that could be the start of a terrible, terrible team fight. Or a good team fight focused on Leona or something like that, as we've seen in the past. So this is a punishing team for CompLexity Black. If you don't make mistakes versus this team, it's very, very inefficient. Like, you can't initiate reliably, you can't pick up kills, but it's just those bits of positioning error, the distortion into a chain, preventing you from getting away, like that, really end up being massive in this type of game. LoLPro, they can try and fight this back. They still have a very powerful Draven. He almost has Infinity Edge, getting pretty close to the point at this point. But the problem is that Draven with Infinity Edge, he's still a squishy Draven. Ultimate coming out onto Heaven Time, almost taken down, surviving with less than 70 HP.
Very, very low, but at the same time, they've got Westrise split pushing down on the bottom lane. Robert X. Lee standing forward here. So much burst coming down. Will they be able to pick him up? Whirling Death, not going to be enough. The Leona ult comes out, going to get the slowdown onto Bubba. Hanser using Slice and Dice, trying to continue chasing down. The Ignite is good onto Prolly. They're able to pick that kill up with some help from the Static Shiv from Hoodstomp, trying to continue chasing out. Ooh, the Ethereal Change not going to land. Ethereal Chain, rather, not going to land on a Broken Shard. Throws out the Dustbringer, and will be able to get himself away from this one, but just like that, it's a quick 2-for-none exchange in favor of LoLPro, and before, it was CompLexity Black getting greedy for an inner tower. Now we see it's LoLPro potentially getting greedy for an inhibitor tower. Westrise comes in from the flank, pops the ultimate down, the randomness goes on the entire team. Westrise picks up the kill onto LOD. Now we see Heaven Time trying to dive in and pick up the kill onto Robert X. Lee. Will not be able to do so. Robert X. Lee kites him around the tower. Quadra kill comes down for Westrise, and CompLexity Black defend their base.
Beautiful, beautiful play. Westrise with the Shyvana movement, getting everybody caught in the burnout. They tried to focus him down. Unfortunately, Laud could not survive long enough to get the burst damaged out. And then Westrise popped the Randuins, kept him in the burnout. They kept trying to fight him, and it's that Shyvana mid to late game damage. We've seen this time and time again. She is ridiculously efficient with very few items. Doesn't have that Blade of the Rune King, still shredding people to bits and pieces. And now they take out the mid turret. 6 seconds till Lowe's back up, 7 seconds till Laud's back up. They might not be able to get the inhibitor, but they can take this turret no problem.
This is just, the swings have been absolutely colossal. It looked like CompLexity Black got greedy for a tower and got punished. And then it looks like LoLPro gets greedy for a tower and gets punished. And indeed they do. 2 towers and the inhibitor falling in favor of CompLexity Black. And while the early game was just LoLPro, at this point CompLexity Black are completely controlling the tempo of the game.
Yeah, it's that mobility. It's that just abrasive Shyvana tankiness. Roots on Bubba Dub. Might not be long for this world. Looks like he'll be taken down. Is Laud actually? Whoa!
And Bubba Dub's gonna make it out.
That was the
oh no, he's not! Heaven Time trying to get himself over here, jumps over the wall, can't land the slowdown onto Robert X. Lee. He's able to get himself back out of this one, but Hood Stomp from downtown landed that Whirling Death.
I mean, the big play that is landing the Ace in the Hole. I mean, no one expects that much damage from Ace in the Hole, especially LeBlanc, who is, of course, a very squishy champion. Robert X. Lee got a ton of experience off that last fight, though, because he was near 5 champion deaths, so I think he actually rocketed all the way from 15 straight to 17, so that level 3 Ace in the Hole ultimate, it's got 700 base damage, and people tend to forget that, so just the tremendous burst now coming out from Robert X. Lee with very little help needed to secure kills. That was just a Tormented Soil taking someone down. And Tormented Soil coming out from Bubba Dub, it is rank 5, so it is decent damage, but it is not exactly the biggest priority spell in the game. Still, pretty good play coming out from Bubba Dub. Now, this is not over for LoLPro. They can still try and play into this. They still have a decent team comp. We saw them just kind of rush down CompLexity Black, and that's going to be their advantage. If they see a mistake, mostly it's going to be coming out from either Robert or Prolly. They can just try and kind of run that team down. Prolly's still very, very squishy. He's out of rush the Zhonya's, actually. Zhonya's Rod of Age is not exactly the most common cast in the build, but he's just so squishy right now, he needs that tankiness. So if they can try and catch up Robert, that's going to be their huge play, because without the AD carry in the background, most of their damage is fairly short range. It's going to be melee range for Westrise and Broken Shard, and Prolly does like to get up close and personal playing that Kassadin.
So you see CompLexity Black grouping up down in the bottom lane, looking to make this push happen. They have the inhibitor down in the mid lane, so we'll have the opportunity to set this up and put LoLPro kind of under the pressure, where they'll have super creeps pushing into their base if they continue to try to stay down in the bottom lane and defend their towers here. Just a lot of dancing back and forth right now. See, Robert actually gets the crit with the static shiv. Decent amount of damage down on the Haunter. The chain's gonna land, but LOD immediately has to back out because the potential for CC coming out from the rest of Complexity Black is too high. LoLPro has been poked down to below half health on this one. That's not where you want to be on your Leona. So we see the rest of Complexity Black will be able to step forward here. They do get the tower. Haunter slicing himself away from this one, and we're gonna see the pause.
Pause come out from Complexity Black, realizing there's some lag issues on their side. Can go ahead and make sure nothing too bad happens before a fight breaks out. And yeah, with all the heavy poke coming out, just constant damage from Caitlyn, constant poke from Probably. There's not really good punishment from LoLPro, and they don't have good punishment. Unfortunately, LeBlanc is a little bit delayed in her damage. Hood Stomp, he has to land a stand aside a very slow skill shot. It's going to essentially be low pally going for the punishment in these fights. He either lands a Zenith Blade into it and just initiates with that, or lands the ultimate. And the thing is, the ultimate, if you miss it, that's a huge cooldown not to have for this big strong push. If you miss it, if you go with the Zenith Blade and you hit it, you've just started a team fight. And Lol, of course, a little bit low to actually do that right now.
All right, so everyone back into the game. Robert X. Lee going to steal away the red buff. So at this point, Complexity Black, they're exercising their map control, stealing away resources, picking up buffs, using sweeping lenses, trying to deny as much vision as they possibly can. And Bubba he felt so good about clearing out that ward that he had to pause the game, run upstairs, and give Probably a high five.
I mean, yeah, they got to go ahead, really cheer themselves up. Hopefully lag does sort itself out. Teams seem to be ready one more time. And honestly, LoLPro, they can stop this push, but it's going to be off a mistake that they'll actually win this fight. So if Probably gets cut out, for example, he's playing with fire right now, but Cassidy is a trained fire eater. I got to see one of those in person, by the way. Very fun to watch. It initiates with a black shield, but nothing to break it right now.
Oh, they do get a beautiful Leona ultimate onto Robert X. Lee. The lockdown is tremendous. Heaven Time goes in and picks that kill up. Now Heaven Time finds himself in the middle of everything. Is going to be able to jump himself back out. Broken Shard goes back in with the ultimate to pick that kill up. Westrise coming back out with just no health at all. Haunter wants this kill. Call the Meek not going to be enough. Will be able to pick it up with the Dominus damage coming out. Is now trying to chase down onto Probably. That's going to be difficult. It's Cassidy. Bubba Dub gets the Dark Binding down onto Haunter. Now he's going to try to run himself away from this one. Broken Shard has to deal with Laud and Hoodstomp on this one. Can he try to get a kill? No, indeed he cannot. Hoodstomp picks that kill up fast, quick, and in a hurry. Now Haunter slicing, dicing through the creeps. Bubba Dub does not have the black shield for himself, so he's going to get stunned up. Will be able to flash himself over the wall and is able to get back out. And at the end of the day, it just goes 1 for 3 in favor of LoLPro. A beautiful base defense.
I mean, it was the positioning mistake. No black shield available. Already popped it under Probably. There was nothing they could have done to protect Robert at that point, unless he popped the 9 caliber net in time or popped the flash. And thing is, he was already in the middle of an, I believe it pilled over Peacemaker when that went down, so just no way for him to escape. And it's those slight mistakes. It's just being out of position for a second. Normally, they're incredibly comfortable being up that far forward because of Black Shield, but it was already on cooldown. They had no defensive option at that point. So Baron going to be chunked out now. Still steal potential coming out from Bubba Dub. Not exactly the best stealer in the game. They don't have the smite, though, as Heaven Time did go down.
Probably might be here in time as well if he tries to go for this one. Will not do so. And now we see LoLPro actually goes over the wall. He's going to be able to flash himself back out. And he's going to have to rely on the rest of his team. Cassidy's really, really strong at chasing down those low health targets. But they will not be able to get anything done here, so very nicely played. The back and forth nature of this game continues as LoLPro pick up a huge team fight win and grab themselves a Baron.
Huge team fight win, unfortunately not securing the gold lead. And the thing about the past team fights that LoLPro has won, it's usually based off Draven not being focused on early. And that was the perfect fight for that, as who's going to focus on Draven when they're already forced to appeal for their AD carry. Gold lead still 1,000 in favor of Complexity Black after the inhibitor base race front door with Dominion's attempt. It did not work out too well for LoLPro in terms of gold, but they've kind of evened out that difference. Draven is still massive this game, 1,600 gold compared to the 15,900 from Robert X. Lee. I mean, 16,000 gold, not 1,600. So it's a slight advantage for him, but it's going to be kind of rough for Complexity Black to defend against this. They've kind of put themselves in the same position as last time, where they're now in the defensive. They have to try and poke out and catch someone, but if they catch the wrong person, the team fight's over. They'll lose. They could lose the game off that.
Clearly, they just need another Westrise quadra kill.
Oh yeah,
Let's see if he can deliver.
If they do that, that's also effective.
Alright, so we see Hoodstomp is able to grab the turret, and now we see Westrise comes back. It doesn't hit anybody with the ultimate, but he's standing right in front of Heaven Time, and Hoodstomp zoning out two of the highest damage dealing members of this team. Hoodstomp is going to fall down. LOD is able to take down Bubba Dub in instant time, but Hoodstomp, he had the Guardian Angel, so we see probably commits to that one. It is only going to end up getting a Guardian Angel proc. Now we see Broken Shard tries to go back and won't be able to get anything done. It's going to end up being 4 for 2 in favor of LoLPro, and this should be the end of the game.
I mean, Robert Exley, it's up to you. It's up to you, man. Can you make the big plays happen? Going back to base right now. He's going to buy up. He will not have ace in the hole available for this fight, so he can't try and pepper someone down in advance. Last minion's going down. Hoodstomp taking the turret. That might be enough to stall this push.
Every right click onto a creep is going to give him just massive health back.
Oh,
yeah.
God, he already played.
Yeah, it took 2 auto attacks to put him basically back up to full. But they will back out. They do not want to get greedy. They did get 1 Nexus Tower for that one. So, you know, really, really good work for them. Able to take down the inhibitor, get one of the Nexus Towers. Again, before we were saying exactly how much control one team had over the other one, and then we saw the game kind of like the fortunes have been reversed 3 times since then. So I honestly have no idea what to expect at this point. All I know is that at the moment, LoLPro are ahead.
LoLPro are ahead, but they have to worry about the Guardian Angel not being up for Draven, because he did die in that fight. The thing is, having G available makes dying pretty nifty. Not exactly the worst thing. However, it is a 5-minute cooldown. It is going to be quite a while before it's back up. So if they try and fight again, there is nothing to actually keep Draven alive in this fight. There is a Face of the Mountain available on Leona. That shield will help him out a bit, but there is no Mikhail's Crucible. There is no great defensive item on Draven at the moment. So the question is, how do they stall at this time? Because if they wait for the full Guardian Angel cooldown, inhibitor's already back up by then, and the game's more or less evened out. It's going to be interesting to see how they try and deal with it. But you kind of see that Complexity Black, they have good burst damage, but a Guardian Angel completely nullifies it, because they'll kill someone, kill the Draven more importantly, and then they have to wait around. And either they back up, back off, Draven comes back up, kills them, or they sit around and it's the rest of the team kills them as Draven pops back up and kills them anyway.
Alright, so let me ask you this, Studio. A lot of times when teams play against compositions with champions like Kassadin on them, it's said that they're playing against a clock in a certain extent, where the Kassadin is, I mean, he's only got 2 completed items, right? Like, plus his boots. Like, the amount of scaling that he still has left to do is immense. If they get to that point, would you be scared as LoLPro?
They have a comp that is incredibly weak to Kassadin Burst. Kassadin has 11,700 gold. It's a decent amount, but he is essentially being outfarmed by everybody on the side of LoLPro except for Low. And this is because the Kassadin early game did not pan out. He had very little support in lane, and as Kassadin is available, you can do on the situation as long as you make the biggest plays. So if they do start getting the death cap on the Kassadin, if they do start getting a Void Staff, all of a sudden that burst means that if he pokes in, he can remove Laud from a fight. Maybe not kill him in one burst, but just toss out a Null Sphere, and Laud will know he'll die to the next burst combo. However, they need to stall that out. Like they can actually, they won't be able to do a whole lot in terms of bursting down Draven until Kassadin gets enough to one combo him, because if not, he'll just sustain back up. Haunter taking a lot of damage though.
Yeah, you see so much damage potential there. Haunter just gets chunked down to almost nothing. He's going to have to back himself away. Does still have his Summoners and his Dominus available. There's the chase down potential from Kassadin. He gets in, gets the slowdown. They're going to continue trying to chase this down. Robert Exley still has the ultimate available. He thinks he can pick up a kill. Now we see the Nocturne ultimate. He's just trying to go back in, but Heaven Time turns around and pops him as he isolates himself. Robert Exley going to be the next target. Double kill goes down now for Heaven Time. He's so huge. Bubba Dub going to pop the Zhonya's right as his stun comes down from the Soul Shackles. And another pause mid-fight. 1-800 Merlini.
Oh, let's ring him up if we need the police. However, I want to see how this fight goes, because it's kind of a rough fight for both sides. We already see 2 dead, though, for Complexity Black. Clearly, this fight not exactly going well for them. However, Draven's low on HP. The question is, can they turn around and kill him before Hoodstomp kills everyone else? And it looks like Heaven Time might be able to clean this fight up as well. Complexity Black going for a little bit of chase, probably does get bursted down, though.
And they see they will be able to pick up the kill on the Haunter as well. The Dark Binding plus Westrise turning around, giving him a little love tap. We'll be able to grab that one up. Oh, the chains will land on the Westrise. He's going to go down. Laud picks that kill up. And at the end of the day, more members of LoLPro are still standing. And you have to question,
I mean,
Broken Shard just like ulting into the middle of the entire team. The burst was so
4
fast.
champions he went into, and he is not a tanky Nocturne. He is not a normal initiating jungle carry. He is someone who is very specifically a bursty assassin. And the thing is, Nocturne actually takes a little bit of time. You have to get an auto attack off. You have to get the Dustbringer cast off. You also have to land auto attacks as well. Like, he's not a instantly dead champion like Zed, like LeBlanc. You have to use that time. But the Nexus should be going down in this fight. They do chase out Bubba Dub, and with that, LoLPro, after a very back and forth and a little more back and forth game, they finally secure it for themselves at the 40-minute mark.
Just the amount of stick-to-itiveness was so strong. I mean, they got out way ahead in the CompLexity Black with an insanely impressive mid-game. Were really able to kind of stall this out for a very, very long period of time. And the gold lead never really got to any sort of extreme measure. Like, we're here at the end of the game. It's only 3,500 gold separating these two sides. It was purely positioning and decision-making during team fights that ended up separating the victor from the loser in this game. It wasn't any sort of, like, building a snowball and then rolling it, or just, like, one individual major throw or anything like that. It was just consistent play from LoLPro was eventually able to pick them up the win.
Yeah, that was incredibly well played by both sides, really. Just those team fights, just those momentary decisions in team fights. The catch on Robert Ixley at the turret, the Shyvana, West Rice, quadra kill underneath the inhibitor turret. Just great decision making and great punishment of the other team's decisions, which is not always easy to accomplish. But with that, I mean, LoLPro, they take their victory. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, at least up for the next game, here at the North American Challenger League.